So what do you need here? Or I'll just start rambling off the questions. What's up?
This I got a half point off that you took off 1.5 points.
I'll do that at the end of the period. That's one job. Anything on the topics? Jared, let's go. Start us off.
For the homework for the 3.14,
Yep.
I was confused with 6 and 7.
3.14. So you want to,
Yes.
yep. So, all right, nope. Let's go back in our packet, everybody. Which ones?
6 and 7.
6 and 7. You want to give the pages to your classmates there for me?
54.
Thank you. Make sure you have your calculators out because you're going to need them for question 6. Okay, for which angle? Beta, remember, same as theta, alpha. Below the secant does not exist. So I am going to get an error on my calculator because there is no value there. All right, so if I do the first one at 30, so secant at 30, what's that value? Well, remember, we do not have a secant button on our calculator, do it. Some of you tried to search and you couldn't find it. So instead, what can I do instead to find the value of secant at 30? What is secant related to from Friday? It's the reciprocal of cosine. So I write 1 over cosine 30. Is there a value there? 1 divided by cosine 30. Is there a value there? Yeah, there is. So that's not undefined. So let's keep going. How about secant of 45? See where we're going here, Jared, and everybody else?
I get it.
Okay, yep. So we're all good. Everyone's got their answer. We get an undefined somewhere. All right, let's go to 7 now. Basically, what quadrant am I in given the angles? What quadrant am I in given these two facts? Cosecant, and we discussed Friday. Maybe you don't like to see cosecant, so what can you replace it with that's going to have the same exact truth here? Sine. So write sine above. And greater than, fancy way of saying what? It's positive. And then secant, what do you want to write above it if you're uncomfortable with secant? Cosine. So here's what I'm asking here. Instead of using cosecant and secant, find me a quadrant, a single quadrant where sine is positive and at the same time cosine is negative. All students take classes where is sine positive, but at the same time cosine is going to be negative. One quadrant only. And that's where? Quadrant 2, S for sine. Yep.
You really just got to pay attention to the positive, right?
Yes.
Because everything else would be negative.
Correct. Yeah. You found the key there. Correct. All good, Jared?
Yeah.
All right. No problem. Good question. Let's go back to your topics before I start picking questions. Anything here you want to start going over? Yep, go ahead. Ryan?
I agree on that.
Yeah, that was actually the first question that came up in the last period. Go to the very last question in your review, please. Very last question in your review. 20, whatever it is there. 5, 6, anybody? 26, yep. All right, before we start this problem, I'm going to hand you your test on Wednesday. You were only allowed your formula sheet, which, let's be honest, only has how to go from radians to degrees and degrees to radians. That's the only thing on there. And I'm going to give you a fresh one, so it's not like you can use one that you've written down notes on. So I give you the test on Friday, probably what should be some good facts to write at the top. All right? Definitely definitely right away, we should have this down. How do I find sine? How do I find cosine? And how do I find tangent? Because you should have two different ways to find each of those three. How do you find sine? Dylan, one way.
Y value.
The y value. And that is only if I'm working on what circle? The unit circle. It has to say we're on the unit circle to take the y value. If it doesn't, is there another way to find the sine value? And that's to do what? Take the opposite side over the hypotenuse side of what type of triangle? Right. A right triangle. And I'm telling you, you're going to be able to do one or the other. It's not like, nope, can't do both ways, so now you're stuck. I'm not going to do that to you. Cosine. How do you find the cosine value? X. And if you're not on the unit circle, you'll probably be on a right triangle, so I use what instead? Adjacent over hypotenuse. You guys are scaring me. And then how do you find tangent? Y over X, or opposite over adjacent. And I'm going to add in one more here, specifically for this problem. What's the Y value correspond to? So it could be sine over cosine. Yep. Specifically for this problem here. All right, so let's break this down into a couple parts. I've given you the formula. Sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. That's the formula we're using. That's what you're going to plug in for. Find the value of what? Tangent. So now my wheels are spinning. Tangent. Y over X. Oh, well, I can get rid of O over A. Is this a right triangle problem? I don't know how you would make it into it, but no. And it's sine over cosine. So that's how the wheels get spinning. It's tangent. So I know it's going to be Y over X, sine over cosine. What quadrant are we in? 4. So it might be a good idea for you not to lose a silly point. What do you know about your final answer then? Thank you, because we're in quadrant 4 and tan is negative. So I don't know if it helps you or not. Hey, answer is negative, just to remind yourself. Because probably you might forget at the end of the problem. And what value do I know? I know cosine already. Hey, kiddos. Right? So what's the only thing we got to find? Yeah, what's the sine value here? And how am I going to find it? Using the formula. Okay? Plugging in and figuring out what sine is equal to. So let's do that now. Sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta equals 1. All right, you tell me, what are you going to plug in and where's it going? What value did I already give you? Cosine is, so where do I put the 0.4 in for? Okay, now ready? So sine squared, because that's what I'm solving for, sine, plus, how's this going to look over here now? Okay, right, 0.4 squared, not cosine, because I already know look, I'm plugging 0.4 in for the cos right there. So there's no reason to rewrite cosine again. 0.4 all squared equals 1. And now your algebra skills take over. One point 0.16, if I remember from last period. All right, next move. Subtract it over, yep. Is that 0.84? All right, I don't want 0.84 though. I want sine theta, not sine squared. I just want plain sine theta. So how do I get rid of the squared? Square root both sides, yep. And make sure your calculator is going to give you a long decimal there. Keep that. Keep that. I don't want to round it to the end. I think I would remember. Everyone all right with that sine value? Dylan?
So I remember you saying sometimes you just want it in like radical. You don't want the whole like number. Is that just if it doesn't say anything about rounding?
Well, yes, correct. See how this says round to the nearest hundredth?
Yeah.
So decimals are fine.
Okay.
It's when you see the term, and we're going to go over one today, exact value. That's when I don't want the decimals. I want fractions or radicals.
Okay.
But since I'm rounding to the nearest hundredth, I should have decimals. All right, what's next? What's that?
You also forgot to mount to the nearest hundred, which becomes.
I'm not done yet. Relax. I'm not done yet, am I? Is everyone all right? You sure you're all right? You sure? Okay. Well, I'll keep going, but so when you do divide those two and round to the nearest hundredth, that's tenth, hundredth. Everyone on their calculator? 2 point. Did you write yourself a note at the beginning? What should I know about this answer? Okay, then I have a question then. Then why didn't your calculator, when you divided those two numbers, tell you it was negative? No. Hey, you just found sine, right? And we were in what? The quadrant 4. So this value should have been what? Yeah, that's how you end up with a negative answer. A negative divided by a pi. But but did you see? It's okay if you forgot that. It's okay if you forgot that that should have been negative, because at the beginning, you were aware of everything and said, hey, my answer's got to be negative at the end. So that's fine if you weren't aware of that. But you got to be aware of it somewhere, at the beginning or at this point now. Watch out for your darn signs. Understood? We good? Okay, turn it back to you. Anything else on the topics? Because I got a couple I definitely want to go over, but I want to answer your questions first. Tomorrow you're on your own. Dylan, what can I go over for you?
The terminal side goes through a point on the graph.
Yep. So let's go to, I know I definitely have one on here. Just saw it. Number 20. Let's see. Do I want to do that, or is there a better one? No, it's going to be 22. Yep, go to 22. There you go. So, this is Dylan asked this question. Hey, point goes through the terminal side, goes through this point. Find the value of all 6. What do I mean by all 6? The 3 we're familiar with, and the new reciprocals from Friday. So those are the 6 I'm talking about. All right. I don't want to just push you to do what's for you. Do this way. Do it this way. No. You know it goes through 512. Where are we starting here? Where is 512? Let's start there. Quad 1, right? Okay. You know you're in quad 1, and you got to find sine, cosine, tangent, and the other 3. What do you think is going to happen in quad 1 right now?
Wait, no. Oh wait, is it a triangle?
It has to be. If I'm asking you guys to find sine, cosine, tangent, and the other 3, there's no unit circle here, is there? So my only other option is a right triangle. And I know it's in quadrant 1. Oh, wait a second. I have a tough time remembering what that triangle looks like. Got a suggestion?
Bow tie.
Bow tie, yes. Make a bow tie that goes through all 4 quadrants. All right. Looks cute. I need 2 sides because I'm going to use Pythag to find the third, but what about those 2 sides? How do I get those 2 side lengths?
The X and the
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the X and the Y.
512. 512, right? Where's the 5 going? On the x-axis. Where's the 12 going? On the y. And then, yeah, I just gave it away. We got to do Pythag to find the hypotenuse. 4. When you have it. Feel like I'm going to have a lot of not here. 13. Thanks, Reagan. 13. Got it. All right, you ready to find all 6? Remember what angle we always go from? The reference angle. We always go from the reference angle, right, for theta? Sine theta, cosine theta, tangent theta. I would do the big 3 first, because if I know the big 3, the reciprocal 3 will come pretty easy. All right, sine, whatever you want to tell me. 14, whatever you want to tell me, sine. Can't be the y value. It's not the unit circle, so there's only one other way I can find sine.
Opposite over hypotenuse.
Okay, go ahead. What's the opposite and hypotenuse side here? What's opposite the angle and what's the hypotenuse?
This opposite 12.
Yep, and hypotenuse?
Hypotenuse is missing. Is it missing? No. 5.
Where's the hypotenuse always located? Here's my right angle, hypotenuse located across from the right angle, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Cosine. 4. Adjacent over hypotenuse. 5 over 13, good. How about tangent there, kids? 8. My luck ran out. 9.
12 over 5.
Opposite over adjacent. 12 over 5, good work. All right, now it says all 6, though. That means the big 3 and now the reciprocal 3. So name one of the new 3 from Friday. One of the reciprocal 3. 13, name one of the new ones we had from Friday.
Cotangent.
How do you abbreviate that?
Cot.
And which one does it go with?
Tangent.
Okay. So I'll put, let's see, 4 right here, I guess. Cotangent. So what do I just have to do to tangent, Jared?
Flip.
Yeah, and you guys are welcome for this problem because there's no radical on the denominator, but if there is Wednesday, have some self-respect, right? And make sure you get that radical out of there. All right, what's another one we went over? One of the new reciprocal ones. 8. Cosecant. Abbreviation?
CSC.
Which one did it go with?
Cosine. Or no, sine. Sine.
Yep. So CSC. So go ahead and flip it, Nick. What is the cosecant value?
13 over 12.
Good. And the final one we went over that obviously relates to cosine. 12. Secant. And now that'll be what there? So
Sorry, 13 over 5.
you're fine. 13 over 5. Extra question. Number 7, extra question. To the nearest degree, what is theta? What is the measure of theta to the nearest degree? Ooh. To the nearest degree, what is the measure of theta? Well, it better be between what and what? 0 and 90. What do I love it. Look at everyone grabbing calcs because you know you got to do what? Inverse, right? Doesn't matter what I do the inverse of. They're all usually, yes, it usually does. I usually want you guys to do the inverse of the positive value, but all of them are positive, so you guys choose. You want to do inverse sine, cosine, tangent? Your call. And no matter what we used, everyone should have the same degree measure, 60, 7 degrees. Good deal?
Well, yeah,
Good question. Yeah, good question.
Oh.
You all right?
I thought you were talking about my me clearing my throat.
Oh, you good there? Sorry.
No,
I want to be considerate. You okay?
No, yeah. I'm good.
Okay. You're good? Good. If you were choking, we'd figure it out and you just get back to the notes. Okay, we don't stop here, even for sicknesses. Anything else from the topics that I have on there? I definitely want to go over one other one, but this is your show today. Because tomorrow you're grinding away on your own. All right, I'll pick it. I'll be up here. Where'd it go? Where's that radian example? Actually, I'm going to pick two of them. Where'd it go? There it is. 25. Last question of your test Wednesday. Last question will be parts A, B, and C. Find the exact value of, there's A, there's B, there's C. One of them will be just like this in radians. Let's first, exact value. I'm not even going to look at your work. I'm just going to put a red slash through it if you put what down as your answer? Decimals. Yeah. You do not just type in sine of whatever this is in degrees and write the decimal. That's not, absolutely not. You know you're going to get it wrong. And that's a 9-point question. All right. What do you want to do here? First thing you want to do. I'm listening to you guys.
Multiply by 180.
Get it into degrees. However you do it. Might be Clayton's way he just suggested off the formula sheet. It might be some of you memorize what pi over 3 is and multiply that by -4. Some of you may see pi and plug in 180. Whatever your method is, get the job done. So this question is actually sine of -240. All right, I'm still listening. So I got to find the exact value, not a decimal value, exact value. Next step, next thing you want to do? Okay.
Add 360.
Make it positive, yeah. Because we're not big fans, including myself, of the negative degrees. Sine 120. Still listening. Where are we going from here? Sine 120 now. I got to find the value of. And again, I don't care. I don't want anything to do with your decimals on the calculator. Where are we going from here? Howard.
Unit circle.
Unit circle, right? But here's the thing. I am going to go on the unit circle, but I am not familiar with the point at 120 on the unit circle.
You 180 minus 120.
Reference angle time. Correct. Great job. Now I'm going to do reference angle. And the reference angle is 60. I am familiar with that point, aren't I? Or should be. And maybe that's the other thing you want to write down as far as your facts go. 60, what do you got? 1/2. Radical 3 over 2. Which one do I want? The sine y value, right? So I want radical 3 over 2. You're going to have 20 extra seconds on Wednesday? Yes, you will. What do I mean by you're going to have 20 extra seconds? Go ahead, everybody. Yep. Sine -240. And right away, we'll know or not if I need to adjust my answer. Is your answer positive or negative on your calculator? Positive. Okay, so we can keep it. And if you want an additional 5 seconds, if you have spare time, do radical 3 over 2. Is that the same decimal you're getting? Guys, it's 100% correct before you move on. I don't know how you couldn't check it at the end. All good? We sure? All right, I do want to do another exact value with you as well. Just got to find it. Yeah, 16. 16. Exact value, cosine 510. What do you want to do? Keep minus and 360. Yep. Oh boy, what do you got there? 250? 150? Yeah, I don't know. What do you got for me now? Reference angle. 30. Coordinate at 30. We're doing cosine. Want the x coordinate, right? Is it? Negative? Well, you either check it or you know 150's in the second quadrant, cosine's negative in the second. Quickly, what if I replace cosine with tangent? What would I need to do? The steps are fine until I reach the end here. So tangent, I would have to do what? Tangent on the unit circle. Jake?
It would be 1/2 over radical 3/2.
Y over x. How do I deal with this?
You do 1/2 times 2 over radical 3.
What cancels?
The 2's.
Self-respect.
Jared?
And you multiply it by the.
No, yeah. What did you say first?
The self-respect.
Self-respect, yep. There you go. Because I think one of them is a tangent one I asked. So are we all good? Big thing is, when you see exact value, don't write down the decimal. Oh, man. What's it? Third? We still got plenty of time. All right, go back to anything else on the topics here. Because it's been a while since we've done some of that stuff. Nick, go ahead. Yeah, let's
Can
go.
we do 24?
Just in the packet?
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone go to 24 in the packet.
It's on page 60.
This one?
Yeah.
Determine the, yeah, good one. Real good. Better apologize to your classmates because they're going to have to think here. Ooh, baby. Here we go. So I gave you cosine. You know, tangent is greater than 0. Determine the exact value of cotangent. You guys ready? All right, well, we need to find what do you know about cotangent?
Opposite of tangent.
Flip tangent,
Flip tangent.
right? Flip tangent. If I knew the tangent value, I would flip it and I have my answer. So I'm just going to start writing a couple things down. Flip tangent. Yep. All right, let's keep going. How can I find a tangent value? Y over x. Am I on the unit circle? Does it look like I'm on the unit circle at all? No? Okay, if I'm not on the unit circle, how else could I find tangent?
Cosine or sine over cosine.
That's unit circle,
Oh.
right?
Yeah. Oh wait.
What's
sine.
the other way?
Opposite over
Opposite over
adjacent.
adjacent, which I would need a what for though? A right triangle, right?
Oh,
Okay, yeah, let's keep going. But I would need a right triangle in a certain quadrant, wouldn't I? Based on this information, could you tell me what quadrant we're in? What's this greater than? Really a fancy way of saying. So tangent's positive, and what do you already know about cosine? It's negative. You know where this right triangle is going to be? Third quadrant. Tangent's positive, everything else is negative in the third. And again, our goal is to find tangent so I can flip it.
Wait, can you say that again?
Sure, Jared, ready? Flip tangent. So now one suggestion was y over x. But that's if you're on the unit circle. And I don't see anything up here that tells me I'm on the unit circle. Okay? So the only other way I know to find tangent is do opposite over adjacent. Right? But I need a what for that? I need a right triangle.
Yeah.
Which I can get here though. Because it's given me enough information to know that this right triangle, because tangent's positive, cosine is negative, I know that only happens in the third quadrant. Okay? All right, keep going. You know, anytime you build one of these right triangles in a quadrant, you should be able to put two side lengths on. Where's that information going to come from? Cosine is 6 over 10. So where's the 6? And where's the 10 going to go? Cosine is 6 over 10. So I got to put the 6 somewhere in the 10. Dill?
Would it be, or you put the -6 and the x
Yep.
line?
Adjacent
Yeah. And then,
over.
oh yeah. Oh, adjacent over. What's it called? Or hypotenuse. No. Wait, hold up.
Here we go.
Wait,
Spider-Man meme.
I gotta write down the subject to a thing. It would be adjacent over hypotenuse.
So where do you want me to put the 10?
Hypotenuse.
Okay. I need O over A though, right? So I'm missing the side, aren't I? How can I find the missing side? Pythagorean theorem, right? Pythag. -6 all squared plus b squared equals 10 squared. What do you got? 8? All right, you ready to find it? Okay, what's opposite? 8 over adjacent?
6.
Yeah, be careful here because we are in the what quadrant here? Third, and what do I know about my tangents in the third? ASTC. What do I know about tangent in the third? Positive, right? And again, how do I get that it's positive? Everyone see this 8 here? See how it's going down on the y-axis? So it should be, right? So I get opposite -8 over adjacent -6, which becomes what? Positive 8, 6. And now how do I find cotangent? What's that?
Just flip it.
So it should be?
6 over 8.
There you go.
Are you supposed to simplify these at all?
Here's my opinion there, Clinton. I would say no, because you got this far and you got 6 over 8, which is correct. And let's say you're trying to be a hero and you try to reduce it and you reduce it wrong. You did all that work just to now get a point off because you tried to be a stud.
Okay.
All right, and as we know from this year, you got some work to do. Okay. Too harsh. Sorry, too harsh. Other questions? We got time. Oh, I'm not wasting 5 minutes either, so you can ask it or I'll ask it. from the topics, or if you were looking through your sheet and you're like, ooh, hey, how are you doing there with this problem? Actually, you know what? Why don't we do this before we leave? Good news. One topic that will not be on here, that you don't see on the topics in front of you right now. I know you're going to be so devastated when I tell you so, because it was so much fun when we did it. Remember that? With the circle, angle, there's your theta, SR. I'm not going to do that to you. You got enough on your plate. So that means we need to get rid of the following review questions so you don't go nuts and you're like, what? I thought he said it wasn't going to be on here. We can start with, if anybody's 9, you can get rid of 9 for me.
4.
4, thank you. 4 and 9. And I believe there's one more sneaking up, maybe. If anybody can find it before me. 4, 9. Come on. 4, 9. 20. There you go. So don't worry about those 3. Man, big opportunity here. I know some of you want to raise that grade, and you can. You just got to take it seriously here. Everyone good? Okay, so tomorrow, I'm just coming around, sitting with each group, each individual, and seeing if whatever questions that you had, trying to answer them for you. All right?